Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Falcon Blues TV. It's your boy Sachin, the American host. And today, I'm going to have the match reaction to Tottenham 1, Everton nil at White Hart Lane. And really disappointing. 3 points were there for the taking. Would have been huge for a push to Europe, but in classic Everton fashion, we had a lackluster performance and really flat. And I was fuming after the match. I was really, really mad and disappointed with it's the same old Everton since I honestly expected a lot more with Ancelotti and with the restart and how good we looked. But fume and sadness. That's the way I'd sum up that game. But let's go over it quickly. Lineup: Gylfi's still in there. No Gordon. Yeah. I understand why Carlo did that, and especially when we saw how the tactics were laid out with the fullbacks pushing up deep and then Gylfi and Tom Davies dropping into that space. And honestly I like that style. We have not seen that before under Carlo, if I remember correctly, but I really thought that that was a solid plan because in possession both of those two are pretty good. And then moving forward, you like to have Luka Dean with the width in the attacking position because he's quality, and then have Sheamus up there and see what he can do. So I like the tactics. I liked how he kind of didn't really go for a 4-3-3, but almost a 4-3 4 or 4-3-2-2, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I thought in possession that was assured. We lacked the creative spark to really break down a team. But I really thought it was interesting and positive the way that we set up to nullify Spurs attack. And like I said last video, the tactics are very refreshing. The awareness and the fluidity in which we can change our shape and change our game plan week in and week out is something that will only get better over time. And you can see how the players they may be shite, especially the midfield, but at least they knew their role. They knew the tactics and they were organized in that sense. And it took a fluke own goal from Keno to to cost us the game. But the tactics I thought were good. The issue is the midfield. But that's a little ahead of ourselves. Let's keep with the first half. So we had that fluke own goal by Keane. You have the Holgate coming off for Yeri, which was I was very worried at the time when he flew into Lo Celso, who's a little twat, isn't he? I don't like that guy. Little Celso, man. Brutal, brutal. Had some nasty little nibbles on Richarlison, who was immense, but that Lo Celso, oh, terrible. But Holgate, hurt himself on that tackle, had to be subbed off, and I was worried. I was really worried because Holgate is a really big anchor and has that recovery pace, which Keenan and Yeri don't really have. So him going off is huge. But credit to Yeri, he stepped in well. And other than the own goal, that first half was really, really equal, I would say. No one really bossed the tempo. We had decent possession, but two pretty shy teams, if you ask me. No one really like we had a game plan, we had the tactics, but we're just not very good. Spurs, they didn't really want it any more than we did, to be perfectly fair. I mean, they had a little bit better attacking possession in the final third, but nothing special, and their goal was a fluke. But the second half shows up, still poor. I honestly don't think I've seen such a bad performance from Gomez ever. That was atrocious. Iwobi was bad, Coleman was bad, but Gomez was utter dross. That was just pathetic. He was just running around a full step off the pace on the defensive side of the ball. He didn't put in a tackle. He was just getting glided past by opposing players. The only thing he did was give away a foul where he forearm shivered Son in the back, as retribution, and that was really the only semi-positive contribution he made all day. He was a non-factor in possession. I thought he was really poor. Tried a couple first-time passes, which I'm accustomed to him, pinging perfectly across the pitch, and it was just giveaways. And whether it's because he was so used to having Ghana on there, who did the job of two players and really covered up for his lack of defensive abilities, or whatever it may be, it was poor. And I thought he should have been subbed off for Bainesy. It's like Baines could not have done any worse than Gomez, no doubt. But I thought Gomez was by far the worst player yesterday. Uh, Coleman, really bad. which shows why Sidibe was subbed on because Sidibe was just as bad too. It was Sidibe's first time effort where he tried to score. I was like, who does this guy think he is? What the heck was that? That was ridiculously bad. I would have subbed him off just for that. Like Duncan subbed off Moise Keane at United way back when. But that showed you how bad Coleman was. That Sidibe came on because Coleman didn't want to go forward. He went. Yeah, it was a little better in the second half when Gordon came on because Gordon is absolutely was our second, probably our best player yesterday, other than Richie. Because when Gordon came on, you could see putting tackles. I think he had the most tackles. He's had the most chances created since the restart. He's the only player that's carrying and putting a shift and getting stuck in. And he's 19 and a winger or wide player, not a center mid who should be running the midfield. But he was everywhere. He was immense. But Coleman started to play better when Gordon came on. But Coleman was poor. Iwobi terrible. Some off at half. I don't even want to talk about Iwobi. He shouldn't be starting. Gordon should be starting. Might as well keep Sigurdsson because who else do we have? Nobody. Davies wasn't that bad, but just so brutal of a performance. The only player who was up for it from the beginning was Richarlison. He must have been fouled 15 times. Referee, no protection per usual. No protection. Utterly ridiculous. The fact that he just gets mowed down week in and week out, just clipping at his heels and no protection. But he was the only person that cared, especially in the first half until Gordon came on. We had what maybe one decent shot, which was right at the stroke of half time where he whizzes it past wide. But he's the only player who's willing to get the ball and run at somebody and do something with it and be dynamic. Dom, too much of the time, especially in the first half, was spent him getting a touch and playing it backwards versus him trying to turn, use his pace, run at a defender. May not work all the time, but at least try something different because we had some decent opportunities where we were looking to break and then we just pass it back. The Spurs would get stuck in their shape and then we'd lose the ball or do nothing in possession. It was utterly dreadful. Then the dynamic changed second half with Gordon, but too little, too late. Just super disappointing. I honestly I don't want to see Gomez play. It might be the new he might be the new undroppable. It was Gilfie under not Martinez under Marco Silva. Gomez might be that player now because he should not be playing Thursday. He should not be in there. It should be Davies. It should be honestly throw Holgate. If Holgate's fit, throw Holgate in midfield. Because he can win a tackle. Remember him at United, he was immense, but he can win a tackle. He'll get stuck in. He may not be his first choice position, but Yeri looked pretty good yesterday when he came out. I'm not gonna lie. He had a couple nervy moments, but I thought him and Keane did very assuredly, and we have no midfield. So throw Holgate in there, throw Davies in there, throw Baines in there. I don't care. Throw Gordon in there. Throw anybody not named Gylfi Sigurdsson or Andre Gomez. And even with saying all this, I'll say I do not regret selling Morgan Schneiderlin because that guy was a clown too. Yesterday was utter shite, but we need we need a lot. Marcel knows what we need, but we need a lot because that was a really poor performance. And you could tell I haven't even looked at any post match comments from any of the players or Carlo because I just don't care. Don't no more Europe, which is good. So now what? 5 games left, 5 matches left. Throw the youngsters on. Throw Sims on. Throw Beningame on, who we haven't seen since Allardyce. Throw them all. Give him throw Jared Braithwaite out. He just got an extension. Throw him out there. 19 or 18, because these internationals are getting embarrassed by a 19-year-old Anthony Gordon, and they should be embarrassed. They should be ashamed of themselves because it is absolutely astounding to me that full internationals that have played in the World Cup are getting outshone by a 19-year-old. Ridiculous, ridiculous. It's a disgrace to the badge. And I don't want to sound too outrageous and stuff, but I said last video this was a statement of intent for the new Everton under Don Carlo, and it's the same old. Only thing better is the tactics and the changes we make. But the players, the same crew that have been around for 4 or 5 years, they're the problem. They're utter shite. Bin them off, get new people in. Ibrahim Sangare is what 12 million from Toulouse or something. Sign him in, but we need some ball winners. We need a whole new midfield because this is atrocious. We cannot go into next season and have any ambition whatsoever with the people we have in the middle of the park. But guess Thursday 6 p.m. kickoff. Throw some kids out there. I don't know. But no more Europe, so at least I have no more hopes for the rest of the season. Hopefully we see some changes to the lineup, and man, I don't know. I might start sports betting and try to get some money, but other than that, up the fucking Toffees, Colin Sean.